A new kingdom and Adisa's final vision. The gods were satisfied with the sacrifices of both kings. From that moment on, the kingdoms of Zula and Ngoma became one, known as the Kingdom of Zuloma. King Juma and King Kifo continued to lead their people, but now as wise leaders rather than kings. The peace they brought blessed the lands, and their people flourished. Adisa, having brought true peace, went down in history as the true hero. Her prophecy had come true, and peace was established. Afterward, Adisa left her lands and journeyed to unknown realms. Yet the people of Zuloma never forgot her name. Adisa's wise words and her vision for peace became the most important legacy in the kingdom's history. The end of the prophecy and the decision of the High Council. After peace was established, the people of Zula and Ngoma merged, ushering in a new era for the Kingdom of Zuloma. But there was still uncertainty about whether this peace would last. Old grudges lingered, and concerns about the future remained. Both kings had made great sacrifices, but more steps were needed to ensure lasting peace throughout the kingdom. One morning, in one of the border villages, the people gathered around the wise tree, signaling the beginning of a new development. The leaders of Zuloma came before Adisa and made this plea. We must find a more permanent solution to continue the peace. Our kings have given up their thrones, but for the sake of our people's future, a high council must be established. This council will be made up of representatives from both peoples and will address all of our kingdom's issues. Upon hearing the people's request, Adisa quietly pondered. Establishing a council meant giving the people direct participation in governance. This step would not only resonate within the kingdom, but could also echo across all of Africa. Adisa presented this idea to the kings, and they both agreed. Thus, the voice of the people grew stronger in the governance of the Kingdom of Zuloma. A new threat, the plot of the jealous kings. But the lasting peace could not be secured solely from within. Hearing that the Kingdom of Zuloma had united and was living in peace, neighboring kingdoms saw this as a threat. Particularly, King Beel of the Kingdom of Tangara was displeased with Zuloma's growing strength. He devised a plot to expand his own territory and conquer Zuloma. King Beel sent spies to find weaknesses within Zuloma. These spies sought to stir up small unrest and old grudges that still existed in the kingdom. Certain noble families from the former Zula and Ngoma kingdoms had not fully accepted the peace. Beel secretly made deals with these families, intending to spark a rebellion from within. Adisa sensed this danger. She began to have prophetic dreams again, feeling that the peace had become more fragile. Adisa warned the High Council, urging them to strengthen the kingdom's borders immediately. But internal unrest distracted the council. For a time, no one heeded Adisa's warnings. The shadow of the final battle. King Beel quietly positioned his army along the border and prepared for a full-scale assault on the Kingdom of Zuloma. Adisa alerted the kings to this threat and once again rallied the people. The people of Zuloma needed to remember the importance of unity, or this new threat would destroy the peace forever. One night, Adisa organized a sacred ceremony around the wise tree. People from all corners of Zuloma gathered for this ritual. Adisa shared her prophecies and dreams with the people. Before everyone's eyes, the former warriors and kings of Zula and Ngoma renewed their oath of unity. During the ceremony, Adisa delivered her final words to unite the people. Peace is not born from weapons, but from hearts. If hatred exists in your hearts, no war will protect you. The future of Zuloma is in your hands. The greatest enemy of peace is forgotten sacrifice. Remember this sacrifice. This ceremony uplifted the people's spirits, and the kingdom's army stood united once again. King Beel's attack plans failed. Seeing the strength and unity of the people of Zuloma, he was forced to retreat. Once again, Adisa's vision of peace had saved the kingdom. The permanence of peace and Adisa's next journey. Having passed this final test, the Kingdom of Zuloma grew even stronger, thanks to the decisions of the Peace of Two Kings, an African legend. Once upon a time, in the vast lands of Africa, two powerful kingdoms ruled. The Kingdom of Zula and the Kingdom of Ngoma. Both kingdoms possessed wealth, military strength, and vast territories. However, The enmity between the two kings was the result of a hatred that had spanned generations. King Kifo and King Juma attacked each other at every opportunity, disrupting the peace of their people. The wars not only ravaged the lands, but also hardened the hearts of both sides. Fields were burned, trade routes were blocked, and the people were condemned to live in hunger and misery. The dark prophecy. One night, at the height of this enmity, King Kifo had a terrifying dream. In his dream, his kingdom was engulfed in darkness, his people were dead, and his throne was shattered into pieces. A figure approached him, an old, hunchbacked woman. She spoke in a cold voice. Division will bring destruction. As long as there are two kings in this land, no people will find peace. You must come together, or you will perish. King Kifo told no one of this dream, but from that night on, his mind was constantly occupied with the prophecy. On the same night, in the distant kingdom of Ngoma, King Juma had a similar dream. He too saw the old woman and heard the same prophecy. Both kings took these dreams as a sign, but still, they continued to hate each other. However, after these dreams, the wars became even more intense. The people's suffering and the wise shaman's plan. As the kingdoms of Zula and Ngoma continued to fight, the people grew poorer. The people of both kingdoms began to turn their backs on their kings. The fertile lands fell to drought, and the people no longer had the strength to endure the hunger and disease that plagued them. It was during this time that a wise shaman named Adisa, who lived in a village located between the two kingdoms, decided to intervene. Adisa knew of the dreams both kings had, for it was believed that she herself was the woman who delivered the prophecy. Using her deep wisdom, she decided to bring the two kings together. Adisa's first step was to rally the people. In the border villages of both kingdoms, the people began to call for peace. The people cried out to their kings, "War has brought us nothing but pain. Either peace comes, or these lands will destroy us all." This plea struck fear into the hearts of both kings. Adisa sent a message to the advisors of both kings. The two kings must come together, otherwise your fate is sealed. The secret meeting and the difficult test. Under pressure from their people, King Kifo and King Juma agreed to Adisa's proposal. In secret, under the cover of night, they met at an ancient temple on the border between their kingdoms. Adisa stood in the center of the temple, waiting for both kings to arrive. A large fire burned in the middle of the temple. The darkness, combined with the sound of the wind, made the atmosphere even more eerie. Both kings approached Adisa, their eyes filled with suspicion and fear. Adisa fixed her gaze on both kings and began to speak softly. "There is no room in this world for two kings. The gods want peace, but that peace will only come through the rule of one king. But peace will not come easily. Each of you must make great sacrifices." Adisa pointed to two large stone bowls in the center of the temple. One was filled with water, the other with what appeared to be blood. "These bowls symbolize your future. Either you will rule as pure and peaceful as water, or you will continue to spill blood and destroy yourselves." Adisa placed a knife in front of each king and said, "Are each of you ready to give up your throne? Only then can peace be achieved." The true price of peace. This moment was a turning point for both kings. King Kifo felt his pride and arrogance swell inside him. Giving up his throne was unacceptable to him, but he also could not bear to see his people suffer any longer. King Juma, on the other hand, still held onto his belief that he could win the war. Yet he feared the destruction he had seen in his dream would become a reality. As Adisa patiently waited for their decision, shadows began to appear around the temple. The wind sound grew louder, and the night was filled with an ominous hum. Adisa revealed another prophecy. "If you make the wrong decision, your lands will be cursed by the gods, and your people will live in eternal misery." This prophecy placed even greater pressure on the kings. Finally, King Juma took the first step. He took the knife, let a drop of his blood fall into the bowl, and said, "I am willing to sacrifice everything for peace. For the sake of my people's peace, I renounce my throne." This brave act deeply moved King Kifo. After a long pause, He too took the knife, and, letting a drop of his blood fall, said, "I am also ready to give up everything for my people. Peace is our only path."